Welcome back to the His and Hers Podcast, episode 66, getting a little bit closer to the so famous 69. Going to be a good time. I did not mean for that to rhyme. I'm so sorry. I just got done watching 8 Mile.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. I'm just
you
naturally.
Lose yourself in the music?
We are back. I'm hopped up on like 3 cups of coffee. I drink my coffee, and then I drink Nikki's coffee because Nikki doesn't ever finish her coffee.
He gave it to me in like a gallon cup, you guys. It was quite a bit.
Like I gave it to her in a big gulp. It was just like a regular size coffee cup. And also, she decided to match me and wear pink.
I was wearing this first, don't
so,
you?
I don't know.
It's okay if I inspire you.
I was wearing this first. I literally got this.
Influencing you.
Influencing me.
So what do we got on today's agenda? Let's not waste the people's time. Good morning. Happy
This
Monday.
whole podcast is a waste of people's time. What are you talking about? Let's not
They're like,
waste our
oh,
time.
what you guys are talking about your coffee and stuff. Can we get into it?
They drink coffee? You guys drink coffee? I drink coffee. You drink coffee or tea, whatever makes you happy. I don't know. There's some stuff that went on. I know that there was that Montgomery, Alabama brawl on the dock.
Yeah,
and
that was insane.
It was crazy. It was funny. The parodies that I've seen for it have made me laugh.
Dude, the memes are so good.
And like I saw the parodies before I saw like the actual video. So the whole time,
Oh, you must have been so confused.
yeah, I was like, what is going on? Because I saw this one where they did like, I thought it was real for a minute. It was like there's one at a pool. And I was like, oh
yeah,
man.
I know which one you're talking about.
And I was like, oh, why isn't that guy hitting that chick with the chair? And then I was like, wait a minute, these punches are fake. And yeah, I was like, what is going on? Then I saw another one that was like a WWE parody. And then I was like, all right, I gotta find the original one now. So I found it, and I mean, just move your boat. I guess that's the lesson to take away from all of this, of just move your boat if you're not supposed to be there.
I just don't understand. I think it was just funny how it all played out, and I had to kind of like put together the different pieces. There were so many different footage like to pick from to try to put together the timeline of what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And like I thought that I saw the entire brawl. And then another video came out with the chair, and I was like, wait a minute now. We on the side. Oh, shit, this is a whole other spot. Okay.
Yeah.
And just like more people were just coming left and right, and I just could not. But he fucking
like
put that chair down on her head like he was trying to plant her like a seed, bitch, into the ground.
It was like that scene in Avengers on Endgame where they like all the heroes just start popping out of like
that's exactly what it is.
I don't know, the red rings that
yeah,
Doctor Strange does or whatever, just kept coming. I was like, man, this is crazy. I don't know, it was wild, and it provided great memes, so I can't complain too much.
That was hilarious, and we're going to be talking about it till the end of time. People are saying that like now August 5th is going to be like a Cinco de Mayo. It's going to be like a whole ass holiday.
Yeah, man, folding chairs business is booming now.
Hell yeah.
Glad we got in
Hell
early.
yeah, I even saw a girl on TikTok making earrings that are folding chairs.
Crazy. What a comeback for folding chairs.
That's insane, right?
We got a bunch of them. I got like old, like rusty metal ones too.
Yeah, it's in our backyard. I was just looking at it this morning. I was like,
perfect.
Like it reminded me of the brawl.
I'm about to throw it in the truck. Just have it just in case.
Just in case it's a weapon. Mm-hmm.
You never know. I'm like, what?
I think you could even like repel bullets with that thing. Just
you probably can.
Swinging it around.
Swing it right back to him.
Hell yeah.
Hit it like a baseball.
Yeah.
I believe it, man. Those things are heavy duty, dude.
Yeah, you catch your finger off on them folding chairs.
Yeah, they're heavy as hell. Like, yeah, you pinch your finger in there, your finger's gone. Just say goodbye to it.
Do you feel like something like that would happen? Like every time I see people on boats, I just immediately think Wyoming. And I feel like that's some crazy shit that would happen over there. Like, because people are drunk.
Yeah.
On boats.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy how drunk people get when driving boats and like just in or around a boat.
I've seen people swimming in a deep lake try to fight a boat. I'm like, you're not going to win that one.
Have you ever seen a crazy fight like while you were over there? Like I've seen near fights, but not like
an actual fist fight.
Like an actual fist fight.
can't say for certain that I've seen it get all the way to that point. No.
Because like people be arguing out there. I've seen a huge argument happen at the marina.
Yeah.
Over there. I've seen huge argument happen at the beach.
Yeah.
I've seen huge arguments happening as you're just passing by a fucking boat and y'all just trying to throw hands. And like I've seen.
Yeah, you just got to pull up to them.
Was like usually your dad fucking arguing with them.
That's about on point. Yeah, usually, when I was a kid, we used to have like, pull up next to their boat and then dock it like pirates and shit,
That's
no,
funny.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think you guys have done that because with Walt, I think it was Walt's boat.
But not to fight somebody.
But like, that would be so funny. But like when I saw them do that for the first time, you guys, it was insane. I was like, wait a minute, you want me to jump from this boat to that boat? What are you talking about?
If me and my cousins were on that, man, we were the only family with like Mexicans in that lake, so we would have been crazy.
Oh.
We would have been whooping them. Probably lucky we didn't get to that point. We're like,
dude,
we had it going on. No, we never. But no, it never got to that point. We had it going on. It never got to that point. Luckily, nah, I don't think so. The thing is, like, it's kind of hard to be mad when you're on a boat.
It's so funny because like I even saw like people about to fight, these two girls on the boat that we were on in Chicago. There's something about getting drunk on a boat that just seems like a really bad idea. And I'm just like, you really letting go of all your wits in the middle of some water. And this is crazy. Yeah. Or like trying to fight amongst water. I'm not trying to drown.
I don't know why you would want to fight on a boat.
And like, have you ever had, like the chicken fights in the pool? Like that, fighting in or around water is like very hard. It takes a lot. Like, could you imagine falling in? If somebody would have fallen in over there in the brawl and you still trying to throw hands in the water? Oh.
It equalizes the playing field,
Yeah.
Because
it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, like you both are like just kind of stumbling or if you're in water, there's like no advantage.
Yeah, well, a bitch is short, and it doesn't matter how shallow the water is. I'm still like fucking just
you're on your tippy toes,
free balling it. Okay, just yeah. I would not like. I could win at chicken fight as long as I'm still on somebody's shoulders. But the minute I fall into that water, because we would wrestle, and my brother and I would be fighting.
I was like, well, I'm pretty sure as soon as you fall in the water, that means you
because
lose.
He would like fucking cheat because he's bigger and he'd be like pinching and stuff. And so once we hit the water, it doesn't mean the fight is over. It ain't over. Especially if you do some shit like that. No, you don't be pinching and stuff. You're just supposed to be pushing. It's strength, not that.
The game is literally.
He get his nails and pinch at my skin. How's that fair?
Time to cut his nails.
So then I pulled his hair and I thought everything is
Wait a minute.
on a table.
Weren't you on his shoulders?
No, not always.
Oh.
We have cousins, my love.
Me and whose else's shoulders
Solomon
would you be on?
did not care about the fact that I was 6 years younger than him. He would be like, come on, like, especially if we're beating out people as we're going and it was me and him last, like, he's like, come on, let's go. Let's go. And he'd get on my Uncle Ruben's shoulders and we'd go at it. I'd be on my mom's.
He used to do that. He'd do like a submarine missile. You ever seen that?
No.
Or like, you like grab on the back of somebody and then they go underwater and then like you climb the back, then you go through and you start fighting with somebody under the water.
I have not.
I don't know. We probably just made that up. I don't even.
That's funny. Or like a violent Marco Polo. I don't know why our Marco Polo was so violent.
I never played Marco Polo.
But like if you got caught like Marco Polo and you could like punch the person without opening your eyes, you could just swing. If you hit them before they say polo, then they lose.
That's definitely a different twist that you for sure add
polo,
to it.
polo. You just going around the water, Marco, and you just
Marco.
Boom. Don't say a word. We should play one of those games. I've seen like these dudes on
thanks.
TikTok. No, they have like these honking instruments or like these little honking things on their feet.
Nipples?
No, yes.
That's what it looks like you're doing your own.
No, like the actual honkers. The old school honks. They have them taped to the bottom of their feet. So every time they take a step, right? And then the whole
like the clown horns.
Yes, the clown horns. And then in their mouth they have like the party, that thing.
Oh,
the party horn. Are we just stupid? We don't even know what anything is. Y'all know.
It's a party. Yeah.
Yes. So they have that in their mouth. They have the horns on their feet.
Like a kazoo.
And so the point of the game is for the person in the middle of the room. They have a blindfold on and a belt, bitch. And they are fucking like just swinging. And to get out of the way, you're fucking honking. Some of them even had harmonicas in their mouth. What? So like if you're trying to get away from the belt, the person with the blindfold on is just hearing a bunch of honking and stuff, and they're just like,
sounds like my childhood. I don't even. Sounds like
it's like you make too much noise, you're gonna get your ass beat. That's how it
sounds like. My parents found my report card to try to hide. Like that's what that reminds me of.
It is. It made me fucking crack up. I watched those videos for a good minute, and like they keep doing different varieties, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny. I would never do it. Yeah.
No, I would never do it.
A less violent thing that we could do is like the people have already done it a bunch of times, but like the water bottle on the ceiling fan, and you just kind of sit there.
Oh yeah.
When you're blindfolded.
Yeah.
I feel like I would get so mad.
You gotta have your third eye open.
You think you'd be good at it? I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe not now. Maybe back in the day.
When you had your superpowers?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I just stopped using them.
Oh.
Stop using it. You
lose it.
You don't use it, you lose it. That's how it is. Yeah, violent game. I don't know if we ever played like
or
a
the
game.
like a tortilla slap in the face.
Oh yeah.
And like you have a mouthful of water, and you can't laugh.
Nah, my cousin used to my cousin was like bigger than me, and
that's so funny because you're like, isn't it one that's younger than you?
No, he's my older cousin.
Oh, your oldest.
Yeah, he was like bigger than me when we were kids, and he would just like pin me down, and because I was so flexible, he was trying to hurt me, and he would like put my legs like this, I was like, "Fuck you, Trent." He'd like,
not your legs all spread open. Fuck
not
you,
spread
Trent.
open, but just like this, and he's like trying to like, I'm like, "Fuck you, Trent." And he's like, "Why don't you feel pain?" I was like,
so funny because you were the least flexible person that I've ever met in my life.
No, now
like
I can't even touch my toes now.
You guys, I've tried to like do just simple stretches, not even full on fucking yoga, just simple with the shit that you do in your gym class, and this boy will start trying to cry. Like it is so painful for him, and I am like, your ligaments and like your muscles and everything is so tight. You should definitely stretch.
I should actually.
And then him being an athlete,
not anymore.
He tries to tell me that stretching for an athlete isn't good for you. It'll cause you to have more injuries. That's what he said. Because he didn't want to do his damn warm-ups and shit when he was in football.
When I played sports, I hardly ever. I mean,
you didn't.
I would like do the laziest stretches possible.
Dude, you were the kid in gym class that would like just sit there and then just put your hand on your leg and act like
that was me. With like arms across your shoulder, like my hands barely even across my chest.
Dude.
Then the coach would look up.
I don't know why boys are like that. Like when during your finals in PE, like they have you with a partner.
Yeah.
If I was with a dude, I would like when they were like trying to stretch for it to count, I'd fucking push on their back and be like, "Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. You got it."
Yeah, we used to have to partner up in football, like do like leg stretches. People are always trying to stretch my legs out. I feel like there's like were these people trying to fuck me?
Baby, you should really look into that. Ask yourself some questions.
Yeah, so this guy just stretching my leg all the way up, trying to see how far.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I hated that shit, but it was cool. Like,
so, like there would be a point in time when you would walk past the field and just see a bunch of dudes like helping each other.
Yeah, like you lay on your back and you put your leg up, and then they like push it back.
Oh, I know that move really well.
It's a good stretch.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very thorough.
I had a lot of practice. I was like, I know what to expect because I've been on the receiving end of this.
Got it.
So, yeah, but it was cool. Like if I got like partnered up with like big old fat like offensive lineman or defensive lineman, because I would like first of all, you want to talk about not being flexible. They barely get their leg off the ground. They're like, ah.
Oh, I bet.
So like any little kind of pressure you put on it, they're like, ah. So I'll just put it and then I'll just like lean on it. Like,
you're such a menace, David. Such a menace to society.
So yeah, I don't know.
But he was really good at football, though.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm
it
just
was
like, I don't
great.
even know how
great.
you went that long. If anything, I'm surprised that you never got an injury for not stretching.
Nope, I never got an injury.
But with his whole chest, y'all, he said
Never.
that stretching was not good for you.
It just sounded good to me. It was like when my Uncle Chris was like, the doctor
He's
told me
such a
not to get the vaccine.
Okay, so what else has been happening? There was something else that I wanted to
What
talk
else
to
has
you
been
about.
happening? Oh, man. Football started preseason, which is, man, preseason's boring. I don't really. But it started, which means
Yeah,
we're
you can
closer.
have this conversation in your group chat.
I'm just saying,
Next
it's closer.
topic.
That's important. It's coming up. Football's coming up. Everybody should be warned.
Bitch, I got to put up with this until like right around my birthday.
Don't worry. Broncos will be out of it way before then.
You don't know that. You say that every year. And then whenever
and
they're like winning Super
year.
Bowls and shit, then you're like, yeah, the Broncos got it going on right now. And I'm
If
like,
they got
that's
it
not what you were
going
saying
on,
in the
I'll
beginning of the
say it.
season because you say it every time. I don't know if you.
They're not gonna be
That's like
good
you
this year.
believe in this reverse psychology
Nope.
shit. Yes.
I'm
because
being honest. They're
you
not going to be
have
good.
like, David's very.
They'll be better than last
like
year.
he's pessimistic. He's not optimistic. He's not an optimist. And he's always told me, and you've always told me, that it's because you don't want to get your hopes up. You don't want to be let down, pretty much. So he will always, whatever it is that he hopes, he'll say the opposite. So don't believe him right now when he's saying that the Broncos are going to play like shit. He don't believe that.
Yes, I do.
He does not believe that.
Yes, I do. I do believe that. And I've been right.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. They've been ass.
Oh, my God. But the years
gonna
that
be
they
bad this
weren't
year, too.
ass, you said that they were going to be ass.
They literally haven't been ass since
There was never a point
2015.
in time where like the draft happened and you were like, yes, it's a fucking all-stars team. You would always be like, we're going to fucking suck this year.
No. When we had Peyton Manning, I expected to win the Super Bowl every year. I expected us to win every game. Now I'm like, I don't even give a fuck.
Damn, we've been together since the Tim Tebow times.
We have
Mm-hmm.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I met
liked
David,
him.
bitch. I was over here like just trying to act like I was interested in his interest. You gotta like try. So I was like, all right, let me just try to talk to him about a little something. So I go over there. Why the fuck did I say Tom Tebow? And he just laughed. He was like, oh, you're so cute, babe. And he was like, Tim Tebow. And I was like,
that's
I
all right.
tried.
I was like, that's all right. He's not good enough.
And I was really confident going into that fucking conversation. I was like, yeah, he's gonna be so impressed.
I was like, Tom Tebow's probably better than Tim Tebow. I'll give Tom Tebow a shot at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I never liked Tim Tebow.
I know you talked the most shit at that point too.
He was just bad. He was very bad. He was a bad quarterback. I'm sorry. He just was. It's crazy. Like his college team, Florida, they had all kinds of crazy people on there. They had Aaron Hernandez on that team.
Oh my God.
That team was loaded with psychos.
Dude.
There's somebody else that got in like some crazy trouble.
Oh my God. Speaking of criminals, one of the Manson family or the Manson fucking followers just got out of prison.
What?
After 52 years
What were they in prison for?
for being a part of the Manson murders.
Oh.
She was a part of the like a grocery store owner and his wife.
Oh.
And they went into their house, and this was the night after they had murdered like this celebrity couple. And I think her name was Tina Slater or something like that. Anyways, so the next night they go into these other people's homes, and the guys like take the husband to the back, and they're like murdering him. And meanwhile, the girls, like these are young ass girls. This one in particular was 19 years old when she went to prison. Like, and so they freaking, oh babe, she stabbed her 16 times, just her. And there were other followers there that were doing, terrible things to her. And their last moments were awful, right? But so Gavin Newsom is the governor, and he had the parole board had been like approving her having parole, and Gavin Newsom, I think he reversed it 2 times. And then it got to a point where he was like, I'm not going to continue to do this. And he's kind of facing some backlash because she's out. She's in California. She's in a transition home. They're teaching her how to get a debit card. They're teaching her how to go grocery shopping because she was like a literal child.
Wow.
And doing this terrible shit.
Hide your husbands.
Oh, my God. And she actually looks surprisingly young for her age, in my opinion. Oh, she got 2 degrees in prison.
Oh, God.
And
what?
I don't know, but she got 2 degrees, and she was like the head of, different programs and like rehabilitation programs and like.
I mean, I guess that's what's prison's for, right?
Do you believe a person like that can change though? Do you believe
can be rehabilitated?
Yeah, fully.
Ooh, man, that's a good question. Depends on how bad they want to go back to prison, I guess.
And you know what?
I think somebody like that can, because like their life, they can come out and still live like a relatively like normal life. But like say if you're like a drug dealer or you're like in gangs and stuff, and you go to prison and you come out like, I mean, how many times have we seen it where they can, when they come out, like they cannot stay out for very long because that's the only way that they know how to survive. So like this is all pretty much done out of survival. Like this gang and drug dealing stuff. So like that's the only way, and that's why I think we see a lot of people go back to prison, and especially like people that we know, like people in our families and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where they're just trying to make a living, and that's the only way they know how. But I think somebody like this, who maybe, I mean, she's not. I don't know. It wasn't like she was like murdering for a living. Like I got a light bill.
No, but you know what kind of gave me chills though? Like you would assume, because this group was known for like doing drugs, LSD. They would do like all kinds of like hallucinogens or whatever, and so people just assumed that this had to have been like a bad drug trip as well for you to be able to do that. Why did they say that none of them had drugs in their system that night? This was something that was like internal, that like completely sober for. And you are, and then like the guy that was there handed her a knife and was like, do something, because Charles Manson was like, you better make sure everybody gets their hands dirty. Everybody has to have a part.
I mean, you can say she was influenced or coerced into it. Good news is she hasn't killed anybody in 50 plus years.
Oh, sure. That's great news.
I mean, she's cold turkey. She's been, I don't know, maybe keep an eye on her.
I can't even believe it. I don't know. That just kind of gives me chills that she just like, she's out of prison. And like she saw that. She did that. She was a part of that. Yeah. Like she was talking about her interactions with him. And
she like remorseful?
He would kind of, but she also places a lot of the blame obviously on Charles Manson. And she was like, I'm offended by the fact that he doesn't want to take responsibility for his, part.
Sure.
But in that moment, she was in that room without him and sober and was able to do that. And then like, babe, he would go like this. Give me your hands. Oh. He would go like this, and he would just stop them in the middle of their compound, and then just go like this. And you gotta follow my hand, like that, like that.
What does that do?
And then he would like make faces at them, and they would have to make faces just as quickly and keep up with him. It was like a mirroring technique where he was like really psychologically digging into them. Where like,
it sounds like you're like a part of me.
Yeah.
You're me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy shit. Like her interviews and like the things that she saw and like the rituals that she was a part of, and seeing him at his prime and his arc of that time.
That'd be some crazy
She was
shit.
a part of it. And then when they went to trial, when they were real young, they were teenagers, y'all. They were like fucking singing songs and shit down the courthouse hallways together, like the girls. It's very odd. But I don't know. Everybody's like looking at this situation sideways. Like, I get it. You're doing great in prison. Maybe you should stay there. That's fucking weird.
You're doing great. You're getting degrees, and nobody out here is getting murdered.
Right. Putting together programs and shit. I think she should stay.
Kind of like a win-win. I think, I don't.
And what a completely different world to be coming out to.
Oh, yeah. She's not going to recognize
1970s.
Shit. She'll be like, where are black people in the store with me?
Shut up. They were like, we got to teach her how to go grocery shopping and everything. So that's another crazy
Captain
thing
America
that happened recently.
was unfrozen, Mm-hmm. She's going to come out. It's going to be crazy. Yeah.
She's going to be crazy.
she's gonna ask for. Imagine what TVs would look like to her.
Oh, I know.
They probably have TVs.
Or phones.
Think they got flat screen TVs in prison?
Maybe not like anything like fancy, but I just don't think that you would have to really go out of your way to not have a flat screen at this point.
Yeah, you'd have to be like an antique dealer,
like rolling it in on the little cart like at school
with the projector with the little plastic on it.
Yeah,
remember those?
Mm-hmm. I do. Oh, don't age us. The thing where they would write on it and they
don't even use that shit no more. As soon as you lift
it,
teachers probably got like their projector just hooked up to the iPad.
Straight up. I bet you money.
Or maybe I'm giving school funding a little bit too much credit. I'm probably giving them too much
Speaking
credit,
of school, it's almost back to school time.
Hold on. Somebody else. Speaking of prison, Tory Lanez got sentenced to 10 years. That shit was crazy.
You're right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
And Henry Ruggs got sentenced to 3 to 10 years. For that DUI that killed that poor young woman and her dog in Vegas.
I want to know how that makes sense.
You know, I thought the same thing. Then I guess because the way the law is in Las Vegas, like that's pretty much, I guess, like the most that they can sentence him to.
She was set on fire.
I know, but I guess that's just the way the law is. Because I thought the same thing.
Oh my God!
I was like, only 10 years. You probably won't even do 10 years, but I was like, 10 years.
3 to 10. That's a crazy.
And, like he was
gap.
like drunk as shit and going like 200 miles an hour.
Didn't he like leave Top Golf?
Yeah. I think the one by it had to be, was it MGM? Is that what it's by?
Yeah.
But yeah, that one.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Dude. Yeah. So don't drink and drive, people.
Fuck.
But also,
I know a lot of people are conflicted with the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion situation, and I just. But when you compare, like, you know, the 2 cases having been finalized, I feel like that is fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
That young
girl both got sentenced like a day apart.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Man, the justice system is a crazy, crazy thing.
The law is weird, man. Laws are weird. Because
there's always a fucking loophole here and there.
It's like, it's just semantics and how you interpret things. And
how you present things and how you defend things, and like putting all of the responsibility, obviously, like on the plaintiff to, you know, present their case. Basically, the defense is just sitting there like, what you got? And then I'll defend it if you got something. If not, I'm just going to sit here.
Defense don't have to say anything. That's what was crazy.
They don't have to say nothing.
They didn't have to. Yeah, I mean, the burden of proof is all on the prosecutors. I mean,
that's right.
I don't know. I think.
Would you rather be
having a good lawyer,
prosecutor or defense attorney?
I think. Oh man,
prosecution is so like heavy, so much more work. Because that burden is on you to really.
I think I'd want to be like
not a shadow of a doubt.
I'd want to be like a lawyer for like businesses or companies or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't really feel like
the most corrupt people.
Nah, I don't want to like have people's lives.
I would
in my
not.
Balance. But like I would like suing people for like copyright infringement. That's cool. I'll do that. You know.
That wasn't the options I gave you.
I don't want to be a prosecutor.
I would have to be.
I guess defense attorney.
I would be a prosecutor.
Of course,
wow.
Of course.
I would destroy your ass.
No.
I would destroy, especially because I'm really good at telling a story. Oh, let me get up there in front of the jury, ladies and gentlemen. And then you're going to be sitting there like that with your little smirk, and they're not going to like you.
I'm like, no.
Oh, so great. Why would you be a defense? You could know. You could defend somebody that is like a criminal, like that did terrible shit.
If they pay me enough.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I'm not the judge. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge you.
Man, I wanted to be a judge so bad.
I'd probably have like, there would probably be something like if you're being accused of it, I'd want nothing to do with it. There's like 1 or 2 things that I'd be like, absolutely not. And I'm not going to say what those are, but.
We all know.
Yeah, those couple things, I'm like, nah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I don't know. But then also, if you were prosecuted, like you could wrongly prosecute somebody. And like when I did jury duty, the prosecutor was so terrible.
What do you mean?
Like, in my opinion, well, first of all, this guy, he was charged with like accessory to murder, with the intent of aiding or abetting the actual murder. So they had like zero evidence. And then the way I was interpreting the law, I was like, this guy's innocent because they had to prove his intent. They had to prove his intent. All they proved was like he was just smoking meth. But like nothing he did after the fact proved that he did what he did after the murder to help that lady, the woman who killed the guy, to help her get away with it. All it proved, like to me, it was all just to save himself.
Like him freaking out.
Yeah, because he was on probation and he was smoking meth. So he didn't want to get caught. He had no contact with that girl ever after that. But there was like 2 other like couples that actually knew what she did and gave her money, gave her clothes, gave her housing, and actually did help. But they didn't get charged. They didn't get charged. Only the Mexican guy got charged. So to me, like they should have never even tried that case at all because they had no proof. There was no evidence. They were all in this car together smoking meth, and she was like in the backseat or whatever. They somehow got a gun. They never found the gun, by the way. Never found the gun.
They didn't even have the weapon?
They didn't even have the weapon.
Oh, my God.
They didn't even have the weapon. It's been a while, so like the details are kind of fuzzy to me. But they had and then he like, it was his car. The Mexican guy. It was his car. So he was like, and that black guy was like his best friend, like one of his good friends who just got out of prison. And he just got out of prison because he's on probation. Well, then after that, he sells his car to his other friend. He never cleans the car, by the way. Like he never got rid of any of the evidence. The car was never cleaned. Like there was never any like cleaning agents, and like all the like the expert witnesses that like the prosecution brought up didn't corroborate anything that the prosecution was trying to push.
Right.
And then the jurors, they were just dead set on this guy being guilty because they didn't understand the law. They didn't understand how the law was worded. So it was literally me against like a good 9 people.
Oh my God.
Arguing that like this guy's not guilty. They're like, no, he's a bad person, this and that. So at the end of it, I finally had to be like, look, he's not guilty. The way the law is written, the way the law is broken down, because they break it down for you in these packets. I'm like, he's not guilty. I was like, let's write a letter to the judge, because you can write a letter to the judge, have them like, you can ask them questions, certain questions, right? So I was like, write a letter to the judge and ask him if he means what you're saying or if the law means what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So if the law says what you're saying, well then, okay, fine. I'll agree. I'll go.
We'll be unanimous in
fine.
that decision, yeah.
Then yeah, he's guilty. You can't argue that. I was like, but on the other hand, if the judge comes back and says what I said, well then y'all have to vote not guilty. And they're like, oh, okay, because they're all cocky about it. I was like, okay. So write the letter. The foreman writes the letter, gives it to the judge. Judge comes back. They give the letter back. Sure enough, it's exactly what I said, like verbatim what I said. This one lady got so mad. She was like, I guess it's just another fucking criminal on the streets then. And I was like, so this isn't even about justice. You just want to see this guy go to prison. Like, he didn't commit. He violated his probation, which I think he was in prison for that already or something. But like, he violated his probation. He's already dealing with that.
He's still going to get time for that, but
right.
He doesn't need to get time for committing a murder that he didn't commit.
It wasn't
nor
even
was
that.
he even privy to it.
He wasn't an accessory after the fact with intent to destroy evidence or help the murderer escape justice. Or I forgot what the actual terminology is. But it's scary because when you're on trial, your life is in the hands of these people. And after having like a behind the scenes kind of look, it's really scary because a lot of these people really do not understand the law and the way it is written, because it is kind of confusing. And luckily, because I took a journeyman's test, the language is very similar. So it's written like law. And a lot of people struggle with passing that test because it's difficult. You can get 12 people that are, maybe just like 9 or, because I could have easily just been like, whatever,
it's
fine.
Most y'all against
not guilty,
me.
whatever. Like
yeah.
I'm literally, it's like me and like two other like
people.
if I just wanted to just go home, which I did, I would have just been like, fine.
Yeah, you
guilty.
know, there's this girl that I was watching the other day. She's an attorney. And she got on TikTok and she goes, hey, like, serious conversation though. Can we stop making it like a fucking joke to try to get out of jury duty? Like, if you have the ability to, I understand it is, you know, inconvenient. You're losing out on income. You know, you got like a small stipend every day that you were there after a certain amount of days. It can be. She was like, and it's not about like the whole true crime thing either. She was like, it is about having your own peers in that courtroom. She was like, because then you're giving over so much of your ability to, you know, speak up for what's right based on the people that are there and their biases and their prejudices and the things that come along with that. If you don't come to your jury duty or you're consistently trying to get out of it, what are you doing for your fellow peer? You're just kind of feeding them to the wolves at this point, because like all of it did take somebody that used logic and not emotion, that used law and not, you know, this is why like courtrooms have to remain emotionless in the best way possible. But the attorney especially is working against your emotions.
Play on your emotion,
That is their whole job, is to humanize every person in this situation and get your emotions into it, and then you could end up slipping and making a wrong decision.
That's pretty much what the prosecution's like case seemed like. Was like, come on.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Come on. But like, when reality, if you wanted to get somebody for aiding and abetting, or, you know, with intent, accessory to murder with intent to whatever. Those other two couples that helped that lady out, those should have been the ones being charged.
Yes, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Because there was nothing given, like we had access to like his text messages. We had access to all that shit.
There was nothing leading up before or after.
No. It was all about him just
and like the other people that did house her, like they probably know where the weapon is. Like they don't even.
And the prosecutors knew. The prosecutors are the one who brought these other people up.
Oh my god!
So the prosecutors, the defense, by the way,
crazy.
The defense attorneys were terrible. By the way, they were awful. Just it was such an open shut case to me. I was like, how do you guys?
It's crazy.
How they didn't like? Here was the opening statements. She's like, so what? This guy smokes meth. Yeah. He's not that smart. He's really, and like, I'm not even, this is like exactly what she said. Yeah, he's not that good of a person. I was like, this is your opening statement?
She's like, let's just get it out the way now. What
I was like, I understand, like, kind of like, you know, jumping ahead or like getting ahead of this thing.
Yeah, I think she probably overdid it.
Like, you should probably at least lead with some good qualities. Like,
it'd been like, you know, he's not a perfect person.
Something, yeah, but. And I was like, man, but I'm not like a hero or anything, because I did try to get out of that jury duty. I tried to get out of it. I did. I wasn't.
I know, but if that would have worked, look at what would have been in the balance. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, he would have got found guilty for sure.
That would have been a whole different turnout. And that's insane to think about.
Yeah. And then, because what actually they asked me, the prosecutors asked me, they're like, do you trust the police? I was like, oh, this is so easy. I was like, hell no. And he was like, okay. And I think the defense, they're like, probably pushed for me to get on there. I was like, man, I don't know what that guy's going to do with that opportunity. Because the guy wasn't a good guy. His lawyer was right. Like,
I mean, but it's not your responsibility, you know, with that. If
he's not on trial for this crime.
Parole, he was already out on parole. Yeah. Whatever he chooses to do with that, he's already getting in trouble for doing drugs and stuff and for violating his parole. But to completely be demolished by a crime that you didn't commit or you were not even privy to, you didn't even try to cover up, you weren't trying to save nobody. He even said it. You came home, he didn't even know that girl like that. He didn't even know her.
No, it was I think it was that black dude knew that girl. Like, I don't know, they barely like knew each other. And like that black dude was like his friend, like his good friend. So he was like,
that is so sad.
He was like fucked up about it, like sad, you know. And he was just like that, you know, because and they show you like the interrogation room, right?
Yeah.
And he lied to the detectives about something, about like the car where it was or something like that. So they were like trying to use that, but he just kept saying over and over, like, he doesn't want to go back to prison because he's on probation. But never, ever was it mentioned that he was doing anything to try to help that girl escape
crazy
or flee justice or whatever. So,
Wow.
you know, it just, I don't know. That was the first experience I've ever had, like in a court case, like, cause I've never sat in on an actual court case ever or a trial. And so it was just wild that it had to do with murder. The first time that I ever like had that experience.
That is crazy.
But it wasn't just but it wasn't the murder. Like in the law that they were trying to prove was just so much more difficult and tricky because you're having to prove somebody's intent. And that is the difficult part of how do you prove what was in somebody's mind.
Well, shortly with all this technology coming out, they're going to be able to read our minds here soon.
Yeah.
You seen that technology where like AI can literally
yeah. And like paint a picture and shit.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Is that not the craziest shit?
That is crazy.
And like the way that they're getting to know our brains, y'all, because we're on our phones every fucking day.
Yeah.
And so we're like literally teaching it like our ways and what we would most likely do. And it's getting more and more and more accurate. Where
They're
one
gonna
day
be like,
our fucking thoughts are not going to be our own.
Can't wait when they do it to me. They're going to be like, this guy's obsessed with burritos.
He thinks about tacos all the time.
Just answers every question I ask him with a burrito. What's wrong with this guy?
It's like that Black Mirror episode, you know, when they have that embedding in the back of their ear, and when you get on a plane, they have to, can you run your past 24 hours for me? And like they see what the fuck you've been up to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like all of your memories. Oh, hell no.
That's why I love technology.
I know, but I don't.
I know I love technology, but I don't, I like it as a tool or like entertainment or, you know, something for like it makes our lives easier. But like once and the government gets involved and they want to like do all that shit, because you know that like that Black Mirror shit isn't really not that far away.
It's not.
You know
I showed
it
to Julian for the first time the other day, and he was like, wait a minute, I feel like this could actually happen. I was like, it is.
Yeah.
It is going to happen. Like our technology is so, babe, I want you to try, and you guys too, because I tried this the other day just on a whim, because, you know, I had been like looking into AI and like how our data and everything is being used, right?
Yeah.
Well, our phones, because the camera, the front facing camera is facing us at all times. Yeah. This thing is literally tracking our eye movement and what we're actually looking at. Like you could be scrolling, but where your eyes are landing, it'll show you more of that. It's not just about the algorithm. I'm not kidding.
Oh, no.
So I covered the camera for a second and just started scrolling, and all of a sudden like the content that was coming up on my timeline was starting to like differentiate.
Oh, I was like, the FBI called you. They're like, can you move your finger?
Yeah. What the fuck is that, bitch? And like also like my screen immediately like went darker, you know, because like it has that, you know what I mean?
Oh, the
when
the
you
light
look
sensor.
at it, exactly.
Like when you go outside in the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So like I had to put my brightness all the way. It changes everything. Just see if I'm lying, because it's not just about the things that you're talking about, and then they give you ads such as that. It's also where your eyes are landing. That's why it knows, like, if you set down your phone while you're doing something, that you're not actually watching that video. So you may not be interested in it. It's just playing because you set down your phone. It knows.
Yeah.
It fucking knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Apple, they're kind of like anti giving out users' information.
They literally all say that. They say that, but they don't mean it.
I mean, it's kind of a bad business model for you, though, if you do that, or if it comes out that you do turn over your users' data to like authorities all willy-nilly. Because then who the fuck's going to want to buy your shit? Nobody's going to trust you.
No, I know, but it's only like for bigger things, you know, like for bigger.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, bigger fish to fry.
But there's been like instances where like there's been a big murder or something like that where cops would, or, you know, authorities went to like Apple and they're like, we need you to unlock this phone. And like Apple's like, get fucked. And I don't know if they ever got into that phone.
We living in a crazy world, you guys.
That's why I always say, like, if there's a conspiracy theory that can lead to like, that leads to money or power, I can believe all those conspiracies, because to me, I'm like, that seems more logical. Like, that's just logical. Like, yeah, but like that's why a flat Earth theory doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, who the fuck is benefiting? Like, who's benefiting from the Earth being flat? I don't care if it's flat or round. It makes no difference to me. Like, I'm not gonna live my life differently because I'm like, oh shit, this shit's flat. I guess I'll set things on counters with more confidence. I don't know.
I hate that we can't like really have a defense because nobody hardly is even allowed to go like to certain parts of the world. And it's just like, why?
Yeah, maybe.
Just why?
But either way, like even if it was flat or round, let's say it was flat.
That's fine. Well, like, but I think it's just like, I think the part that fucking annoys me is that like I would just love to just know for sure.
There's probably some crazy shit going on in like Antarctica and shit.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that it's flat.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. But I just don't like
some crazy shit.
Yeah, people can like make up stories and shit because we don't know. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're right, I'm right, they're right. We don't know.
You think there's like some guy that's like, why can't we go to Antarctica? It's because the Earth's flat. And somebody's like, sure. And he was like, all right. He just kind of ran with it.
You know, ice falls. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care either way.
Well, we've already talked about flat earthers, okay? We don't want to set them off
I remember
no more.
when we made that video, they got all mad in the comments. Like, how dare you make fun of somebody's beliefs? It's like, it's not a religion, idiot. Like, the fuck? Like, what are you getting out of this? Or like people that don't believe dinosaurs are real. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? Who's getting out of that? Was it like a 150-year marketing campaign for Jurassic Park? Like,
Lord,
that's the only thing that can make sense to me.
Right.
Well, but other than that, I mean, I don't.
We live in a crazy world, y'all. Y'all be safe out here. Thank you so much for spending your Monday with us. We love y'all. And don't forget to follow us on our socials for more behind the scenes. And if there are any topics, hit us up on our social media. Let us know that you want to hear about it in our next episode because we can definitely do that. We want you guys to be more involved. We're going to start doing some games and maybe some giveaways here really soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we're getting closer to that 69th episode. But have a great week and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.